never gonna make it. You're not good enough. There's a million other people with the same stuff. You really think you're different? Man, you must be kidding. Think you're gonna hit it, but you just don't get it. It's impossible. It's not probable. You're irresponsible. Too many obstacles. You gotta stop it, yo. You gotta take it slow. You can't be a pro. Don't waste your time no more. Who the are you to tell me what to do? I don't give a you say you disapprove. I'm gonna make my move. I'm gonna make it soon. And I'll do it cause it's what I wanna do. Cause all these opinions and all these positions, they come in millions. They blocking your vision. But no, you can't listen. That shit is all fiction. Cause you hold the power as long as you're driven.
There's no way that you make it. And maybe you can fake it, but you're never gonna make it.
Oh, will you fight?
Hello and welcome to Game Day from the UK, another live Miami Heat pre-game streaming show here tonight to preview the game against the Portland Trail Blazers. Just the three of us tonight. It's going to be a quick one tonight. We've had some dramas, which is going to be quite funny to talk about. First of all, before we get into that, Glenn Smith, how are you? Great to have you back.
Appreciate it, man. I'm back. I'm alive, doing well. Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you good, which
Perfect.
is a fresh improvement for sure. Well done, mate. Great to have you back. Sam Aquara, how are you, my man?
Yeah, I'm doing great, doing well. How about you?
Yes, I'm good. I'm a bit rushed. I was at the gym tonight, got home, got stuck in traffic, literally got in 10 minutes ago. So prep is a bit non-existent tonight. We're going to roll through it, but not as eventful as Glenn's evening tonight, who locked himself out of his flat an hour or so ago. And how much have you just paid to get yourself back in, Glenn?
260 quid, mate. I'm in the wrong job. I'm in the wrong bloody job.
Jeez.
Absolute farce. If I was close enough to a screw fix, I would have bought myself a drill. But such is life. Such is life.
Man, that's we need it's like NBA wages, to pay to get into your flat. It's incredible. But anyway, you're here, you made it, so good stuff. Everybody else is busy tonight, so it's just three of us. Very quick one. First of all, as always, we'll track back to have a quick catch up on the game last time out, which was against the Toronto Raptors. What a game! Let's start with that. Sam, I'm assuming you caught up with it. For me, that's one of the best games this season. It was touch and go all game. It was exciting. It was quite fast paced, which is unusual for these two teams because they don't lead the league anywhere near in pace. But after a slow start, we got rolling and a big victory. What was your main takeaways from the game?
Yeah, it was an emotionally charged game because obviously it was like Bam's return and it led to his hype. Like it just did what everyone expected. It was an exciting game, almost down to the wire sort of game, and yeah, it was just a good watch. And as a Heat fan, it was just nice to see Bam come back, holding his own. Couple good minutes from Jimmy as well, and yeah, it was just a lovely game to watch.
Yeah, it was a really good game. The crowd were really into it. It was energized. It was one of those games that you just love the fact that fans are back in arenas, compared to last season. It just makes you realize how wonderful sport is when fans are energized and into it. And they put on a good show for us. So, yeah, you're right. Yeah, it was billed as Bam Day. Glenn, a little bit of rust there. That's obvious. The shot wasn't quite there. We expect that to happen. But on the whole, a good night's work for Bam. What did you make of his performance?
It's nice, as we said, a little bit rusty, but that's to be expected considering the amount of time he's had off. And the thing with Yurtseven's been fantastic in the break where he's had to kind of step up and really take those minutes. But you always notice when you see all-star caliber player come back to the floor, even when they are a bit rusty, his cuts to the basket are still one of the best, if not the best, from a center in the NBA. It's lovely to see. And so, yeah, just a pleasure to have him back on the floor. Can't wait to see how he improves. Yeah,
and you touched there, just stay with you for a minute, you touched there on Yurtseven, who's been sensational as a third backup centre behind Dedmon and obviously Bam. As cutthroat as it is and as obvious as it was going to be that Bam was obviously going to walk straight back into his starting berth, that would have been tough, though, for Spo, wouldn't it? He wouldn't have found that easy because a young man in his rookie year putting up those numbers, you could not have asked more from Yurtseven, could you?
No, he's done honestly fantastically, and one of my main criticisms of the Heat, especially last year, was the lack of height, and Bam often a bit undersized, for his position. You may now have the opportunity to go, well, I've got three centers who can play well. If I'm really struggling for height, you can go put two on, knowing that you've got a third ready to go in either Dedmon or Yurt, whoever you bring off the bench. So it's nice treat to have for once.
Yeah, and I remember us talking earlier on in these streams, earlier on in the season, where you thought, wow, when Bam went down, you thought, wow, 6 weeks without Bam, that's the one position we could have really, we're thin on the ground, we could have really have done without that. We couldn't have been more wrong because, Deadman has come back. He's looked brilliant since his return, but Yurtseven just took on the minutes, and even PJ and Okpala, they had little spells as well where they was filling in at doing a few minutes at the 5. So brilliant work again from the organisation to get us through that stretch. Sam, Duncan Robinson was back in the starting 5, just 18 minutes. Struce coming off the bench, who's been sensational again, played 29 minutes. Do you think this is the way forward now? This is what we're maybe going to see, that maybe Robinson is the better man to start, but we're probably going to see more overall minutes from Max Struce.
It does make sense. Over the past 2-3 seasons, we have seen that sort of compatibility that Bam and Duncan Robinson have sort of formed with their dribble handoffs and all that. And it was Bam's first game back, so it kind of made sense that Spo would put Robinson in a lineup. But yeah, Struce has earned his minutes, and you got to give it to him. Like, Spo has no reason to not play him, especially good minutes, if we're not getting the sort of production that we'd expect from Duncan Robinson. So going forward, I really don't know how this is going to be played, but I would suspect we still have Duncan Robinson starting and Struce playing the minutes he's earned.
Do you know what? It's one of those where I think that everyone's got hung up on it a little bit about, who should start. And it's always one of those things, like, it's not a concern for me. It really isn't, because whoever comes in, if it's Robinson starting, I'm fine with it. I think that if that's me, that's probably the way I do it. I probably do start with Duncan. But Max is every bit the equivalent of him, and he's shown that he can do those minutes wherever it is, wherever he's asked to come off the bench, whether it's to start, he's going to give you solid production. So it's really not a concern for me. It's a nice problem to have almost. So before we come on to tonight's game against Portland, final thing, Glenn, another top scoring performance from Tyler Herro, 23 points in the night. We've been billing Tyler as an all-star, maybe at first a little bit tongue-in-cheek, but why not? Tyler Herro an all-star?
He deserves to be in there. I mean, it's a shame, obviously, that he's going to be out for at least a couple of games, it would seem, now that he's in COVID protocols, which is never something that we love to see. But I think that also, as a tone to what we were just saying with Duncan and with Max, it doesn't really matter if you're coming off the bench or if you're starting. He's adapted to that role. He's been fantastic with it. Certainly, as we were saying, he made a comment at the start of the year about, I'm in the same conversation as Trey, I'm in the same conversation as Luca and Jar and all that lot. And I think he's only gone improved it this year from a bench position. So I think he deserves it. And hopefully with things like the KD injury and stuff like that, they'll free up a few more spaces for him to possibly sneak into an all-star role this year.
Did I hear you say that Tyler Herro's in protocol?
I believe so. I think
I've missed that. If so, I've missed that. Well, while you have a look for that quickly, Sam, let's come on to the Portland game then. 18 and 25, they currently sit 10th in the West. First of all, what do you make of the West and the East this year? Because the East is crazy. We're talking 1.5 games, 2 games separate the top 5. Something like that. I think you've got to go all the way down to the Knicks in about 11th, who are 1 game back from 500. Well, here we are with Portland, who are 7 games back from 500, sitting in a play-in position. The East over the West at the moment, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. The East is, in my opinion, is the tougher conference this year. I mean, we've got I'm not proud to say this, but we've got the reigning champions in our conference. We've still got the likes of the Nets and their big 3-4, however you choose to call it. But yeah, it's the tougher conference. Even when you look at the standing at the moment, it's just tight. And Chicago Bulls have earned the position they're in at the moment. They've been playing they were playing fantastic up until the past few games. But yeah, it's definitely the tougher conference.
Yeah, it's a really exciting season. The East is wild. Every chance that the Heat will get that 1 seed, but a lot of basketball to play yet. We don't know what's going to happen. Glenn, Tyler?
Yeah, just to confirm, Ira's been on and saying that, he's entered health and safety protocols, which means that we could see the big man Chris Silver tonight. So get your jersey out. Get in.
Always there for a bit of Chris Silver minutes. Okay, right. Well, we know that Cole Lowry is out tonight. I was going to say always a big miss, but when Gabe Vincent is playing the way he plays, Glenn, he's a joy to watch. What an improvement to the player that we saw at the beginning of the season and last season. He's just the IQ, the basketball IQ, the defensive capabilities that he's got, his hustle. He might be small, but he's not going to give up anything against anybody, is he? What a player to have as a backup point guard.
Something switched for him this year. I think, again, going back to the Olympics when he was representing Nigeria, he was playing well then, but I think the whole experience in the last couple of years for him has just really started to knit together quite nicely, and he's really found his footing and what package he can bring to the team. And as you say, when we've got guys out, the big scorers like the big assister in terms of Lowry and stuff, he's really filling that void, which again, for another undrafted guy is the Heat keep finding these gems, and I'll be happy to give them credit where credit's due.
Yeah, well, was it? I can't remember who it was. Was it Doc that said the other day? The Heat keep finding these players, and it pisses me off. I don't know where they find these guys, but this is we've spoken about it to death. This is what we do. Just staying with you for a minute, Glenn. Portland, as I say, 18-25. No Dame. Dame could be out for the season. They're saying they might not see him come back, which would sort of make sense if they're not going to make a playoff run. They are in that final playing position, but no Dame tonight, no Norman Powell. That's quite a big miss for them. No Cody Zeller, and no Nance either. So they have got CJ back. He's been playing quite well since his return, but the Heat should go into this as big favourites. What do you make of Portland at the minute? Do you see them doing anything this year? I mean, they've always been that bridesmaid, haven't they? Is it time for Dame to look at the bigger picture and think this isn't going to happen here?
Portland is the Tottenham Hotspur of the NBA, and Harry, and he is the Harry Kane. is my take on that. At the end of the day, I mean, they're not going anywhere anytime soon. His contract runs till 2023-24, so he's a proud man. He probably won't ask out of that organization, but something tells me he's got to start writing those letters, man, or he'll end up like the great players that don't pull home a ring, which isn't always everything, but it would be a shame to see him end his career in 4 or 5, whatever, how many years time he decides his time. It would be a shame to see that happen, wouldn't it? So they're different beast without him. Some big players missing tonight for them, obviously. I don't expect it to be a walkover for the Heat by any means, but we're going in strong.
Yeah, that's it. I like the analogy. I think that works quite well, the Spursy analogy. And Harry Kane, as he's likely to move at the end of the season. We'll see what happens with Dame. He keeps talking about being loyal. By me, that's all he ever talks about, really. As I agree with Glenn there, Sam, saying despite that, probably not going to be a walkover. I don't think any game really in the NBA is a walkover, even when you've got a couple of players out. But if the Heat are going to get it done tonight, we've got our own injury list as well. What's going to be the key? What's going to be the key battle here?
Tough one. That's a very tough one. So in the last game, it's either the last game or 2 games ago, I noticed that we got really bad production from Jimmy. Well, not Jimmy. We didn't get much scoring from Jimmy, Bam, Duncan, and one more person. But we need to see the big guys put some scores on the scoreboard in this game. I'm looking to Bam. This should be a good game to ease him into it. So yeah.
Yeah, I think that's right. And it started cold, didn't it, against Toronto? Luckily for us is that Toronto were cold too. I think after halfway through the first quarter, it was something like 9-6 after halfway through the quarter, which was quite incredible. But yeah, I think you're right. It is gonna. Jimmy, a triple-double last time out, tied the record now with LeBron James for 9 in Heat history, which is quite amazing in just 2 and a bit seasons under him. So he'll be looking to score tonight again with Cole not there. It's going to rely on him, especially with Tyler Herro out. We're going to expect some big production from Jimmy. I think he'll top score. Could even see 30 points for Jimmy tonight. Wouldn't surprise me at all. Okay, as we said, it will be a quick one tonight. Let's just roll around and get some predictions. Glenn, you've already hinted it'll be a tight one. What are you thinking?
I reckon Heat by single digits, probably about 8 or 9.
Okay, Sam?
I'm thinking lower, Heat by 7.
Heat by 7. Yeah, I think that's about right. Shout out to John Jablonka, by the way, against... who was it we played that we won by 6? I can't remember who it was. The game before Toronto, we was all calling big blowout wins, 20, 24, 26 points for the Heat. Ended up being a real tight one, and John called it on the nail with Heat by 6. But I think that's what it's going to be tonight. I think Heat by 6. It will be quite close. I think yeah, we're going to need some minutes. We're going to need some production here from somebody else. Maybe Caleb, maybe Max, maybe Duncan. They all step up and jump in because it can't all be down to Jimmy with no Tyler and no Carl Lowry. So we will see what happens. Should be a good one. Please follow us at the Miami Heat UK for in-game comms. 12:30 tip-off, so not too bad for us. But yeah, follow the channel, please. Miami Heat UK TV. Please subscribe to that. We will be back on, I want to say Friday, but we'll come back to it. I think it's Friday. I can't remember who we've got. Hawks again?
Hawks again on Friday, mate.
Hawks again on Friday. Thank you. Thank you for mopping up as always. I'm never good with that. All right, guys. Thank you very much. Subscribe. Take it easy. Enjoy the game. We'll see you on Friday.
Take it easy, guys.